Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Microsoft Flight Simulator news and updates. A bit of cool information for you guys today, so stick around. If you are interested in acquiring any of my Overkills tutorial guides or simply interested in supporting the channel, please consider joining me on Patreon. Patreon subscribers level tier 2 and above have access to all of my guides as well as any future guides that come along down the road. Patreon link can be found in the description below, and thank you to all of my current subscribers. Alright guys, as always, feel free to minimize this and just listen to the sound of my beautiful voice. A link to all of the article information will always be down in the description below if you want to read it yourself. And as always, a big shout out to FS Elite and their team for providing this amazing news article so I can do these wonderful recordings for you so you don't have to read what I read. First up, we have Solutions is developing their version of the DA20. Now, this is a big deal because, as you know, if you have the deluxe version of Microsoft Flight Simulator, the DA20 already exists. However, Solutions is making a much more higher fidelity, if you will, and a better rendition of the aircraft is what we can hope to expect. Now, the reason why we can hope to expect that and make that a generalized assumption there is because if you're going to create an aircraft that already exists in a version of the simulator, you have one of two things. Now, there's actually two parts of this. Number one, the deluxe version obviously is a higher price version of Microsoft Flight Simulator that comes with other aircraft. However, you could also just be developing this aircraft because of those who do not have the deluxe version, but then that limits your clientele and limits your purchase base. Now, here's the other battle here that I believe that already exists is that there is a mod for the DA20 that already exists for the simulator as well. That is an improvement modification, thus improving the default aircraft. So in my opinion, the Solutions DA20 is quite the undertaking, if you will. They would have no choice but to make this a very, very high fidelity aircraft, and borderline, dare I say the word, study level. And I hate using that terminology, guys. It's study level. Yeah, delete, tick, tick, goodbye. Okay, and the reason being is that they would have to understand, and they guarantee they already are aware. First off, before you're going to develop any aircraft, you're going to do your research. You're going to find out what's out there, what people are flying, what mods and things are available to it. So that way you can step above, because you have to beat that wonderful word free. So the wonderful thing about this is that there are plenty of smaller GA aircraft that are already in the simulator, but as you guys know, they are lacking if they are part of the default simulator aircraft list. So Solutions comes from X-Plane 11, or the X-Plane days, I should say, and they have a great reputation for creating some wonderful aircraft, and they're always very, very fairly priced. So the fact that they are moving over to Microsoft Flight Simulator and taking on a challenge such as creating or their entry aircraft being an aircraft that already exists in the simulator, I'm actually really excited for this. I know that was a bit of a rant, but I wanted to make sure you guys understood where I was coming from as I hear this. Those are going to be, in my personal opinion, when you're getting a reputable developer making an aircraft that is already in existence in the simulator, that's going to be some of your best planes, because as all the aforementioned reasons of why they would have to go above and beyond to create this aircraft, they'd have to make sure that it was worth the price, because there's already a free version, quote unquote, if you have the deluxe version. You'd have to make sure that you're beating any existing performance mods that are already out there, again, for free. Developers that are on the side that are working to make the aircraft better just with the default version. You have all these things that you have to beat when you come into the simulator with an aircraft that already exists. So I'm super excited to hear this because, like I said, these are some of the most fun aircraft when you have that kind of bar already set. So if that didn't give you guys your propellers rolling on this particular aircraft, it should. Bluebird Simulations teasing people. They have created this wonderful silhouette image back there in the back end, guys, of a 767. We already know the 757's coming along from Bluebird Simulations, and I'm super excited. The 757 and 767 series that were available in, was it P3D? It was either P3D or X-Plane 11. I can't remember which one it was now, to be completely honest. It's been so long. But I had them both, and I love these aircraft. I love the cockpit. I love the overall style of the planes. I love how big they look. I love how their landing gear system looks completely different than any other aircraft. And what I mean by that is if you look at the 757 and 767, they stand up really high. And it makes sense because they have those large engines under them. But if you just compare that to like even a modern day 787, 777, the landing gears look proportionate to the size of the aircraft, where the 757, 767, they sort of look like they were up on stilts all the time. And I don't know why, but I really liked that look. And then just the long body, wide body aircraft of these or design of these aircraft is something that I'm super excited for. Now, Bluebird Simulations did not actually come out and specify that it's in development, but I mean, guys, that's what the silhouette there is in the back left there is a 767. And then we have the 757 that we already knew about up front. Now, they stated there's a ton of work to do. Obviously, there's still, they have to finish one project before the next one's going to be rolled out, so I have no idea when we're going to be seeing this aircraft. But seeing these two pairs returning to a simulator in modern day with the graphics and fidelity options that Microsoft Flight Simulator provides is something that is super exciting to me. I love these aircraft. I absolutely love them. And I do hope they stick with more of the classic version and they don't go with the glass cockpit. They do have glass cockpit avionic packages that are actually available for these aircraft despite their age. Obviously, all those avionics can be swapped out and things like that. So I'm kind of hoping that they stay away from the glass cockpit and go back to more of the old hybrid solution where you had tons of steam gauges everywhere, but you still had your primary flight display and your nav display and things like that. That's sort of what I'm aiming for or hoping for with these two particular aircraft. But super excited to see the pair of these flying. This is obviously a rendering directly from Microsoft Flight Simulator. So super, super cool times. And Bluebird Simulations, I think they are a wonderful developer who's done some great, great work. So really excited to see this come into fruition. A short update from the team over at PMDG. Over the holidays, they released a patch, I believe it's 3.0. There's a bunch of numbers behind it, but 3.0 is the big one that I'm interested in. They did talk about hopefully soon to see the 737-900 extended range or ER version of the aircraft soon coming to the simulator. And I do say soon. That is actually a quote from the article that was read and from the forums itself. The PMDG forums is one of the ones that I do follow pretty religiously, and so I was already aware of this information. I was kind of hoping to see a bit more. It was actually pretty limited in regards to what we can actually expect. However, they have stated very specifically that the 3.0 improvement does bring some improvement to overall stability of the aircraft, frame rate, and some quality of life improvements as well. Now, there is still no release of the tablet that I know that many of us are highly anticipating, giving the tablet features and what they bring to the simulator, especially for virtual reality users. Most of the tablets in existence of any of the aircraft bring your ability to access so many things that are outside the sim that I think it's a critical part of it. Hopefully now with the 737-900, we should also see the inclusions of the tablet, but unfortunately, nothing is in concrete yet. So PMDG, keep doing what you're doing. Just really hoping to see some of this start to wrap up because we've been talking about the tablet for a very long time. As far as the purchase of the 737-900, I don't know if I'm going to be grabbing that one or not, but time will tell. You guys let me know down in the comments below if you're going to be picking that one up. One of the other developers that I follow pretty closely is Flying Iron Simulations, and this image really caught my attention because, you guys, this is a rendering, again, out of Microsoft Flight Simulator, and as you can see, the biggest thing that should catch your attention is the bent props. One of the things that we all know that is very lacking in Microsoft Flight Simulator is any kind of realistic or effective damage model to any of the aircraft. Flying Iron Simulations is absolutely taking this by storm in their latest forum post, given that they are going back to all of their previous aircraft as well as new aircraft such as the Spitfire that we're seeing here and adding a fully acceptable, if you will, in my opinion, damage model. Anything from collapsible gear, tail strike, as well as you can see bending propellers if you bring that nose down too hard or, heaven forbid, have to do a belly land. they're really, really stretching the bar and taking the bar to a new height, in my opinion, by going above and beyond what any other developer has been able to do thus far in Microsoft Flight Simulator by bringing a damage model. Now, to some, that may be something that doesn't really mean a whole lot, but what that really offers is if you're really going for that sense of immersion, you need to have that risk, okay? Right now, there really isn't any risk if you do something wrong in Microsoft Flight Simulator other than you get that black screen that says aircraft has been damaged and you have to restart, or aircraft surfaces have been stressed, but there's no visual impact. There's no true sense of what happened and what went wrong, and then going back and looking at your aircraft going, damn, I did that. You know what I mean? So this is a really big deal to me, and it should be a big deal to everybody because, again, not only is this going to be fantastic work from Flying Iron Simulations, but it's also going to open the doors to other developers saying, hey, this is possible. Let's step this up here, and thus further enhancing, again, that immersion. That's what simulation is all about, is immersion. However, Flying Iron Simulations is going way beyond just working with the damage models. They are also revamping their approach in sound design. And they're going to be, again, all this is going to be retroactive, going back to previous aircraft as well as aircraft that are coming forward. They have completely redone their soundscape for the aircraft and bringing better integration of the UI controls as well as new sound features that are going to be things such as impact sounds, thus going along with the damage model, ground roll sounds, wind sounds, prop wash, and more is what was listed here. Now, they did also go to read in their forum post about switch activity and other ambient sounds that you may hear in the aircraft beyond what was mentioned, so I'm super excited about that. I have said on multiple occasions that visual fidelity, flight model fidelity, and sound, those are all three things that are required in order to have a truly immersive experience. If any one of those items is missing, your immersion is broken. So I love hearing developers who are really taking a lot of focus into sound. Sound is critical, especially in my opinion for virtual reality. I think it's even more critical for VR than it is in 2D. In 2D, you find yourself constantly being pulled from that immersion because you're looking at the wall or you see something go past your window outside. In VR, the idea behind VR is to completely remove that visual distraction, which leaves you back to the original three. So if you have that visual distraction removed and you have the 3D and flight fidelity models set, so you already got the feeling that you're flying, you get that sound in there and it just wraps the whole package up and you can find yourself lost in the skies for hours and hours. So for VR, it's even more critical in my opinion. So to see Flying Iron Simulations once again raising the bar is absolutely fantastic. The last thing that they are announcing here is they are also bringing in the Messerschmitt BF-109. So that is going to be another addition to our World War II or Warbird series that is very rapidly growing in Microsoft Flight Simulator. The Messerschmitt ME-109 or BF-109, depending on how you want to word it, as well as the Focke-Wulf 190, are coming to the simulator from Flying Iron Simulations. And think about that comparison, or pair-up, I should say, with the P-51 Mustang, with the F-4U Corsair. The Corsair didn't really obviously see much action over in Europe, but still, having some of that access to Allied aircraft variants there is going to be a little bit of fun. And then again, obviously paired up with the Spitfire, where those two were heavily, or those three, I should say, were heavily paired up against each other. So you could really have some pretty fun times with your buddies if you guys go that route. You know, the Spitfire and the P-51 Mustang going against your 109s and your 190s, yes, you can't shoot weapons, things like that. I'm still saying with all of these warbirds that are coming down, we need to find somebody who can develop a laser tag for these aircraft. It doesn't have to be any of them, completely passive or pacifist, if you will, weaponry, if that makes sense. Laser tag, something that just beeps, letting you know that your opponent got you, and then you laugh, you joke, you reset, and then you go at it again, and you both land together, okay? No destruction, doesn't need to be in Microsoft Flight Simulator, you have DCS for that. But just the fun of being able to tool around and have it count for something. With all these warbirds and all these warbird developers coming around, we need a laser tag. I'm telling you guys, it would make everything better. Next up on the list, we have global AI ship traffic has been updated to version 3. Now, here is the amazing part about this right off the bat is it brings your oceans and your coastal waters to life. Version 3 has added an additional 400 new ships, bringing the total of unique modeled ships close to 900, and then a whole bunch of repaints that makes for a total of 1,800 different vessels you may see out and about in the waters with this particular update. You have everything from cruise ships, fishing boats, container ships, oil rigs, gas tankers, you name it, or not oil rigs, oil tankers, and anything that you would see expanded around the Pacific Northwest and Northern Europe. Have also added a whole bunch of ferries in it. It really does a great job. I did a review of this add-on a few months back, guys. I'll try to remember to put the link in the description. If not, my bad. I do forget to do that a lot. I had to absolutely admit that. Now, one of the really coolest parts about this thing is that you can find it for free on flightsim.to. I will try to do my best to make sure that I put that down in the description, guys. It is absolutely wonderful. They've done such a great job with it. And again, bringing the simulator further to life is a huge deal in my book. I think it's something that's absolutely critical. And it's something that shouldn't have been missed in the beginning, in my personal opinion. But it's really awesome to see developers taking on things like this that are outside just the aircraft or airport scenery, but bringing the photogrammetry and satellite imagery that we already have, bringing it to life. So again, make sure that you guys check that out. It's completely free. It's absolutely worth it and has virtually no performance impact. And I say virtually because I only speak to my machine. I don't ever want to speak to anyone who might actually run into that. But again, give it a shot. What's the worst going to happen? Well, my friends, that is going to wrap up today's news and updates video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Hope you guys found some cool information from it. And as always, stay safe and healthy, and I'll catch you in the next one.